how's it going, bud? Hey, shut up. I'm sick. My voice is shot, and I have a question about jeans. Why? You feel me? Do you understand? What's this guy's deal with jeans? It's like all the fucking time with this guy. Jeans this, jeans that. What I want to know, RFK, is what's in them. This is not a political video. I refuse to talk politics on this channel for free. I kind of just wanted to make fun of RFK while my voice sounds like this, because that's, kind of just inherently funny. And I fundamentally want to understand why he's chosen to be this way, despite knowing that he's being annoying. Like this is a choice. This is a decision. I believe RFK, or the brainworms at the very least, have enough internality to understand that this is bothersome behavior. There is something surreal and upsetting about seeing a grown man with influence on his knees for any reason. I don't know how to explain that. Tywin Lannister was pants around his ankles taking a midnight shit when he got shot by a slur with a crossbow, and it was still somehow a better look than this. This is what I look like when I was 7 and I was waiting for somebody to hit the pinata. Except I was overweight and anyway. There are a lot of reasons to wear jeans. This buffoonery is not one of those reasons. Don't get me wrong. This is impressive, especially for a 70-something-year-old with aliens in their head. I have to go to the bathroom at a movie theater during a loud part because I get winded when I'm coming back up the stairs to my seat, and I don't want everybody hearing me gasp for air during the quiet part of the movie. Like, I'm not taking anything away from RFK. He's in great shape. I'm talking me, him, Motel 8, until the room stank. No, I'm just kidding. RFK, that was a crazy thing to say. That's my bad. RFK, listen, he was asked directly as to why he does this silly shit in jeans before. His answer was that he got in the habit of wearing them when he would go hiking and then go to the gym after the hike, which would immediately lead any sensible member of society to ponder upon the question, who the fuck is going hiking in jeans? Brother, how deep does this nonsense, how deep does it go? I understand that there are people who go hiking in jeans. Those people exist. Those people walk among us. Those people should be in prison. I'm calling the cops. But specifically coming from a political figure, I don't buy it. The statement, I just got used to wearing them when I would go hiking, just sounds like such a politician thing to say. Like, he got asked that question, and then the calculus of what he could possibly say to endear himself to the American people started whirring around his little head, and he spit that answer out like a calculator. He started that sentence before he knew where the end was. He had no idea where it was going. It reminds me of that Tim Walz truck video with the stupid camo hat, or Zelensky wearing the combat clothes to the Met Gala or wherever the fuck he is right there. Like, dude, he couldn't find one suit on your way there. You can't find one suit on your way there. You needed to be ready for a breakout combat situation right at this very second. Like, I don't understand. Political figures, to be fair, have a long history of wearing jeans to seem like they're one of us and not bug people. The use of denim by people involved in any political structure is a targeted and intentional decision. It's like a visual bat signal of populism, anti-establishment identity, and just overall, like, yeah, I'm not your average mid-level manager of a local Target. I drink a beer or two 3 weekends out of the year just like you and your dad kind of vibes. I also get blackout drunk and smack my wife around just like the average Joe. Vote for me, Kamala Harris 2020. What am I talking about? Jimmy Carter consciously, you guys know Jimmy Carter, he consciously wore jeans to cultivate a regular guy image during his like 1976 presidential campaign. He wanted to be seen as a Washington outsider, a bad boy, a guy who was standing in the corner of a bar mouthing a toothpick and flipping a silver dollar in his hand and going, she, while also wearing a pair of Levi's. That was crucial. The Levi's were a choice. My boy Carter, right? My boy. We're boys like that. He grew up in Georgia, and he wanted to be seen as a dude who grew up in Georgia. So while he was campaigning, he would often wear jeans and like flannels and shit to just reinforce that image. With Carter though, the jeans weren't like just a costume. I mean, he really do be growing up in Georgia farming peanuts. Like, I mean, he would like farm peanuts before school. He would go to school. He'd farm peanuts after school. Buddy was living this shit. But when he became a politician, he chose specifically to amplify that characteristic by making that part of his life, making it a part of his campaign visuals. Now he's not some like Nixon-esque stuffed suit establishment politician. Now he's just like Farmer John Boy with his Farmer John Boy pants and his blue jeans. The jeans were a part of his image. They weren't a costume, but he did amplify it during his campaign to make it seem like it was more of his image than it actually was. And yeah, it really doesn't even have to be all about politicians. You know, we're putting RFK and Jimmy Carter and Zelensky and Tim Walz in the spotlight, but it's not all politicians. Steve Jobs was a big fan of looking like a silly goose. The silliest of geese, as some would call it. One thing you need to know about Steve Jobs is that the man was obsessed with aesthetics. Saying that he was obsessed with aesthetics might be actually the greatest understatement that I've ever made in my entire life. He had a fervent zealotry for aesthetics and design and typography and commercials and branding and fucking jeans. What is I believe, fellas, I'm so sorry that I'm making this video like this. I believe this was a very, very deliberate choice for Steve Jobs. This little thing right here, a choice. His whole thing with Apple was to make his product modern, intuitive, aesthetically pleasing, and fun. Those old Mac versus PC commercials are a great example of this. If we look here, we got Exhibit A, poorly fitted suit, bad haircut, chubby, glasses, nerd, cuck, loser. Exhibit B, young, fit, holding hands with a Japanese baddie, every nerdy white man's dream. And you guessed it, fucking jeans. You know what I mean? You feel me? Brothers, can I get an amen? This is who you want to be. Steve Jobs wanted you to buy an Apple product and be the fit white guy in jeans holding hands with the Japanese baddie. That was his vision of the West. That was his stated goal. I don't think he said that. Anyway, Steve Jobs wanted Apple to be perceived as the most anti-corporate corporation on the planet, and he accomplished his mission through just the power of jeans, is what I'm calling it. He reflected a lot of this sentiment himself when he was walking back and forth on stage during his little, earth-shattering tech press conferences. He himself obviously wanted to be seen in the same way that he wants his business to be perceived, and he accomplished this vision solely through the power of denim, is I guess what we're calling it. There's a lot of examples of this throughout history. We got Ronald Reagan dressed like a cowboy to bolster his outlaw Josie Wales persona. Bill Clinton campaigned in jeans all the time. John Fetterman seems to be doing his own thing from everything I can gather here. I'm gonna leave this one alone, but here's the thing. None of these guys had to maintain this peanut farmer head ass look while exercising. RFK is the health guy. He's making America healthy again, boys. And not only that, he's the health guy right now during the TikTok generation. I can only imagine keeping up with the public's image of your aura used to be like baby mode easy back in the day when politicians weren't having to use apps that they don't understand to appeal to the youth. You could just like poot out a couple of highly tailored commercials for TV that make you look sick as fuck, and then you call it a day. You go to your public speaking events in your Sunday best or, jeans, and then get escorted back to your little bus and make like a tree and get the fuck out of there before anybody had the chance to look at you for too long. You could tailor your public image almost down to every single little finest detail, and the only people that would know that you don't always dress like that would be the people that are closest to you, who don't matter because you're a bug person trying to get elected to public office. Hirohito. Like, could you imagine Hirohito? All right, stick with me. Everybody fucking hold my hands. We're talking about Hirohito, the emperor Japanese guy from World War II. That's who Hirohito was, to put it academically. He conducted a war in the Pacific against the rest of the planet based off of aura almost by itself. The Japanese civilians had never heard this man speak before and were off giving their life to protect this man's honor. That is, ostensibly what was happening. There is a universe of nuance to that, but just my main point here is imagine if Hirohito had a TikTok. A little context is Hirohito was borderline autistically into marine biology. He had, this is real. Unironically, he had a little lab in his room where he'd look at shit through a microscope while, the entirety of East Asia was burning like a dumpster fire in the parking lot of a Denny's, and got alarmingly close to conquering this in the meantime while he was studying little bugs on his microscope. World War II was crazy. Can you imagine the irreparable aura loss that Hirohito would have taken if during the heat of World War II, when people were charging out of foxholes screaming 100,000 years or 10,000 years for the emperor, if Hirohito had a TikTok and he even mentioned his silly little sea bug hobby, it would have been over, bro. You can't go to war screaming fucking 100,000 souls for the emperor, fucking doing all this crazy shit. If your emperor's doing Charlie D'Amelio dances and wearing jeans it's not gonna happen. I think a lot of politicians, especially the ones who are fucking 70, are getting their ass beat by TikTok. Understandably, they shouldn't be on TikTok. If you hold any kind of public office, you should not be in a TikTok, especially not in a TikTok doing pull-ups in jeans, taking an ice bath in jeans, in a hot tub with Kid Rock in jeans, exercising in a sauna in jeans. What are you doing? This made me genuinely mad. I want you to know this made me actually upset.
I tell you what, no child of mine's doing no goddamn sauna exercising.
Or maybe I am incorrect. Maybe you should do all those things because you get a bunch of people talking about you and your goofy goober jeans. Maybe this is RFK's version of Trump's fifth dimensional giga chess. Maybe RFK just wants a dude with 39 subscribers on YouTube to spend one of his afternoons looking up the history of politicians and jeans and making a video on it. I think he thinks he looks good in jeans. I think he wants to look good in jeans on purpose, for a targeted reason. I think he looks good in jeans, just not upside down, you fucking freak. Hey, all 10 of them, 10 toes down. Literally, you put them down, brother. Listen, all I'm saying is that when Brett Favre was into jeans, at least he was getting paid for it. I'm gonna go die alone in a dark corner somewhere as fast as I fucking can. I do not have an outro.